Thanks, Courtney. Yeah, round one was late last night into early this morning, and wind was going to be the primary threat, and that's exactly what we saw. The Grand Forks Air Force Base recording a gust to 91 miles per hour. Edmonds, North Dakota, 79, 78 in Jamestown, Crookston, 76, Mapleton, 73 mile per hour gusts. So let's take a look at the past radar loop. Midnight last night, we had a couple of Boeing segments out west that formed one line as they eventually moved through eastern North Dakota, crossed the Red River, and have since exited off to the east. But it was a busy night, and today is another first alert weather day because, yeah, round two is going to be on the way for later on this afternoon. And this map did just update a few minutes ago. We're looking at non-severe here, areas in the light green, a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe in the dark green, a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe in the yellow. So that risk has shifted a little bit further to the east. So a little bit of good news for today. It's going to be another kind of evening storm threat. In Fargo, expecting those storms to move in after the dinner time hour, and in Grand Forks around the same time. But we're going to break down the timeline and an update to the risks for tonight's storms coming up here in just a few minutes, Courtney.
All right, Summer, thank you.
It to Friday, but it's another first alert weather day. Round two of severe thunderstorms expected later on into the late afternoon and evening hours. Now, a little bit of good news. At 11:30, the slight risk area was trimmed back to the east a little bit further, but we're still looking at that slight risk through much of Lakes Country up into northern Minnesota. Areas here in the dark green, that's a level 1, a marginal risk for severe, meaning isolated severe storms will be possible. With severe storms today, we per hour and localized flash flooding with heavy rainfall and once again some saturated soils. Let's take a look at the timing. So this afternoon we're seeing a nice break from the active weather, but after the dinner time hour is when we start to see a few more storms develop off to the west, and again, an isolated chance for severe in eastern North Dakota, but then we're watching on the Minnesota side later this evening. So this is now 10:30. Seeing more of those cells popping up in parts of the Southern Valley and across northwestern Minnesota. This could also form a line of storms, that Boeing segment, that's more likely just off to our east. And this is the early overnight hours. So this is 1 o'clock in the morning, meaning most of our storms will be out by midnight, 1 a.m., bringing us a quieter overnight period. Waking up tomorrow morning to just a few clouds, but otherwise quiet conditions, mostly sunny by the time we get to the lunch hour of your Saturday. And by tomorrow evening, a few more clouds, some showers, maybe a rumble or two up to the north in northeastern North Dakota, but otherwise much quieter for tomorrow. But for tonight, the tornado risk, primarily watching parts of Lakes Country. That's where we've got an isolated risk for a couple of tornadoes. A low risk, these areas here in the green. The hail threat, again, we could see hail up to the size of ping pong balls. We've got an elevated risk in the Southern Valley up into northern Minnesota, areas in yellow. Isolated risk in brown, and similar areas highlighted for that wind threat as well. Gusts up to 70 miles per hour. As far as rainfall goes, most of the heavy rain is going to be on the Minnesota side, especially through central Minnesota. So just off to our east where we were seeing that line form with some heavier rainfall and gusty winds. But the areas in yellow, that's where you can see 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Temperatures this afternoon going to be again on the warmer side, upper 70s to low 80s, but another warm and sticky day. So with dew points going to be elevated, we could see those feels like temperatures into the mid and upper 80s, possibly into the 90s in a few locations. Cooler, drier, quieter for this weekend. Tomorrow going to be mostly sunny for the afternoon, 80 degrees, and a little bit breezy as well. Winds are going to be out of the southwest, so we're not looking at smoke moving back in for tomorrow. And that breeze, gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour, will help to dry us out. Still a little breezy on Sunday, gusts in the 20 mile per hour range, 78, mostly sunny. Looking ahead to next week.
Good advice there, Summer. Thank you. Well, straight ahead at noon.
We Festers, listen up yet again. It's another first alert weather day. So if you're camping, gonna want to make sure you know where that safe place is if you need to seek shelter, because we've got more severe storms later on this evening. 80 degrees tomorrow, finally drying out, more comfortable in terms of both temperatures and humidity. Looking at the weekend in Fargo, 80 degrees for tomorrow.
Man, those pictures are crazy.
Yeah, I was just looking at our sky cam too, still looking very wet at the fairgrounds.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, stay safe tonight and make sure you have that VNL weather app. Thanks for joining us.